Alrighty, here we are on lesson 33 from equations to inequalities. So yesterday we talked about our inequality symbols and what they mean, and we did some examples. So now we're going to graph inequalities and we're going to be solving them. So I know the top of the page looks a little different than what you have, but there are a few things here that I'd actually love for you to write down. Alright, so when it says graphing inequalities on a number line, a closed dot is used to represent the following. So I want you to put a closed dot and then put these two symbols. This is less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. Okay. Also, for an open dot, you're going to put these symbols less than and greater than. Okay, so go ahead and take a second and write those down just in the blank space at the top of the paper. Alright, and then we're going to look at these examples here. So if you look at them, they kind of look very similar to each other, but they are going to be a bit different. So first here we have x is greater than 5. So what we're always going to do is we're going to put the number we're working with right in the middle. This is 5. Then we're going to put 1 on each side. So to the right we would have 6. To the left we would have 4. So make sure they go in number order. Now it's greater than, and this will be an open circle because we don't have equal to. Then because it's greater than, that means we are going to shade everything to the right, including the arrow that shows that it goes on forever. Okay? If we look at this one, this is x is less than 5. So again we put our 5 in the middle, 6 to the right, 4 to the left, and open circle. Now because it's less than, that means we're going to shade everything smaller than 5, which would be to the left. Okay. Our next one here, we have x is less than or equal to 5. So again, we're going to have our 5 in the middle, then 6 and 4. So less than or equal to, now we are going to have a closed circle. Because of that equal, because we can include that 5. Right? And because it's less than, that means we're going to shade everything to the left, which is smaller than 5. Okay? And then our last one, we have x is greater than or equal to 5. So we have our 5 in the middle, 6 on the right, 4 on the left. We're going to have another closed circle because of that equal to. And because it's greater than or equal to 5, that means we're going to shade everything to the right. Okay, so for your shading, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I need to see that you're going in the right direction, and I need to be able to tell the difference between a closed dot and an open dot. Okay, don't make me guess. If I have to guess, it'll just not be right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and flip the page. And again, you have just a little bit different at the top. Alright, all it says it's different is that to solve an inequality statement, you do the same thing as solving an equation. And then your solution should have the same inequality symbol as the original statement. So this is just like solving equations now, except for an equal sign, we have an inequality sign. So if we look at number 1, we have 5x is greater than 25. So to get x by itself, that means we will have to divide by 5 on both sides. So we would have x is greater than 5. And now when we go to graph, we put 5 in the middle, 6, and then a 4, this is greater than, and x is greater than 5, so that means we shade everything to the right, and we do not include the 5 for this one. Okay? Number 2, we have x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 26. So to get x by itself, we're going to add 8 to both sides. So we get x is greater than or equal to 34. So if we go to graph, now we're putting 34 in the middle, 35 to the right, 33 to the left, and because it's greater than or equal to, that means we're going to have a closed circle. We can include 34, and because it's greater than, we will shade everything to the right. Okay. Number 3, we have x over 2 is less than or equal to 4. So remember, to undo division, we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. So we get x is less than or equal to 8. So when we graph, we put 8 in the middle, 9 on the right, 7 on the left. Less than or equal to means we have a closed circle. And we are going to shade everything less than that, so to the left. Alright, a few more down here. 72 is less than or equal to x plus 35. So it looks a little different just because it's kind of flipped, but we're going to solve it in the same way. We're going to first subtract 35 from both sides. And we get 37 is less than or equal to x. If it helps you, you may flip it around, and it would be x is greater than or equal to 37. Make sure that the sign opens up, or it faces the x the same way that it did up top. So if we see it opened up towards the x, so it has to open up towards the x on the bottom. Okay? Again, you can leave it either way. Sometimes I think rewriting it helps you graph it correctly. So we put 37 in the middle, 38 on the right, 36 on the left. This would be a closed circle because it's greater than or equal to, and that means we are shading everything to the right. Okay. One more here we're going to do all together. We have 3 is less than or equal to x over 6. So we're going to multiply by 6 on both sides. So we get 18 is less than or equal to x. Again, if you need to rewrite it, we could have x is greater than or equal to 18. So now when we go to graph, 18 will go in the middle. And then we have 19 and 17, and it's going to be a closed circle because of that equal to. And because it's greater than, we are going to shade everything to the right. Okay, for this last one here, I want you to try this one on your own with the graph. Alright, and then we will go over it in class tomorrow. So go ahead and try number 6, and then we'll go over the answer together.